As a fellow roller coaster enthusiast, our main job is to travel around and try different roller coasters. But unfortunately, many of us don't really have the time and money to try every roller coaster around the world. And that's why we mainly go for the parks with the best roller coasters. So that's why in this video we're going to be checking out the parks with the best 1-2 punches. And this can shortly be described as the parks with the best top 2 coaster collection in the world. And I've now done my research and collected 10 of the best 1-2 punches in the world. So all you have to do is sit back, relax and enjoy this video. And now coming in at spot number 10, we got Kärnen and Flug for Novgorod at Hansa-Park. And starting with Kärnen, this is really the biggest and baddest roller coaster Gerstlauer has ever made. And if you don't want to hear spoilers about Kärnen, skip 30 seconds ahead. This behemoth of a roller coaster is part of the Gerstlauer Infinity Coaster models. Kärnen is a heavily themed roller coaster with a vertical lip inside a huge tower. Once you reach the top, the chain lift actually drops you down like a drop tower. And once you reach the top again, you go down a twisted vertical drop. And after one of the best drops in the world inside a tower, you go out in this big weird looking element with airtime. After that, you go into a very high paced layout with many crazy whips and turns. And combined with crazy airtime and a slow hardline roll at the end, this is really a crazy coaster. And on the other side of the park, we have Flug for Novgorod. And funny enough, this might also be the best Eurofighter coaster in the world. This coaster has a cool dark ride section before dipping down into the most aggressive LSM launch I've tried. After that, Flug for Novgorod goes outside into a ejector airtime filled airtime moment, a wave turn and a funny turnaround section. And after a hangtime filled hardline roll, you really think the ride is over, but no. Then this crazy Eurofighter has a vertical lift and a beyond vertical drop inside a tower, and then the rest of the layout is complete darkness. And now coming in at spot number 9, we got El Toro and Nitro at Six Flags Great Adventure. And unfortunately, King Dakar is gone, so Nitro takes the top 2 spot. First of all, let's talk about the behemoth of a wooden roller coaster, El Toro. El Toro is of course part of the rare intimate prefab wooden roller coaster models. This huge wooden roller coaster has one of the best starts on any ride ever. El Toro goes down a huge and very steep first drop, and after that you have 2 of the best camelbacks in the whole world. And these 2 camelbacks deliver very strong sustained airtime. Another standout airtime moment on El Toro is the rolling thunder hill. This airtime hill is very sharp and pulls you down with crazy force. And in the end, this huge wooden roller coaster goes into a twister section that is very fast paced. Unfortunately, El Toro has become a bit rough. It needs the intimate refurbishment yet again. And moving away from El Toro, we have a quality B&M hypercoaster called Nitro. Overall, Nitro is being known for being a mid to high tier B&M hypercoaster. Nitro overall features an L-shaped out and back layout. Nitro really starts out with a great first drop, and after that you have many forceful camelback hills, and on top of that you have 2 crazy turnaround sections. It's always great when these hypers has a few positive G-force heavy elements. And now coming in at spot number 8, we got Fly and Taron at Fantasialand. And starting with Fly, we have a next generation Vekoma flying roller coaster, and this is really a one of a kind experience in the world. Fly really dips over and under the heavily themed area called Rookburg in Fantasialand, and this very lengthy roller coaster experience actually has 2 different launches, and the first one actually goes upwards, which is quite cool. And surprisingly, Fly is actually a quite forceful roller coaster with many floaty inversions, and you also have many airtime dips, and that's cool. And on top of that, you have many great foot and head job elements in this themed area. And in another themed area in Fantasialand called Klugheim, we have Taron. And Taron is an overall great multi-launch roller coaster made by Intamin, and this is a really lengthy ride experience with 2 very punchy LSM launches. Taron really offers a high-speed roller coaster experience with many twists and turns and a few airtime hills. What really makes Taron a great roller coaster is the intense second launch and second half, and combined with yet again a heavily themed experience, you have a great roller coaster. And now coming in at spot number 7, we have Voltron and Water and Timber Coaster at Europa-Park. And let's start with the new for 2024 Voltron Nevera. Mark Rice really went all in with their new Striker roller coaster model with a heavily themed experience and a very lengthy and world-class layout. Voltron starts out with a one-of-a-kind beyond vertical launch, and after that Voltron really showcases why it's one of the best roller coasters in the world with a very relentless layout with many different airtime hills and inversions. And some of my favorite elements on Voltron is first of all the 0G stall. It has a lot of hang time, and after that Voltron also features a very strong outer bank airtime hill on the return run, and this might be one of my favorite airtime moments in the world. And on the other side of the park we have a world-class wooden roller coaster made by GCI. Wooden Timber Coaster is a big GCI roller coaster with a very fast-paced layout. And GCI really shows what they're best at on Wooden Timber Coaster with many high-speed twists and turns and floater airtime hills. And this yet again is a heavily themed, a very lengthy wooden roller coaster. On top of that, I don't really feel like there are any dead spots on Wooden Timber Coaster, so this is of course a high-T GCI in my opinion. And now coming in at spot number 6, we got Wildcat's Revenge and Sky Rush at Hersheypark. And starting off with one of the newer RMC roller coasters, Wildcat Revenge really showcases a great layout. And yet again, this is another world-class RMC product with relentless airtime and inversions. The only mid-tier moment for me is actually the first inversion, the so-called step-up underflip. I just feel like it's too slow. But after that, these brilliant design coaster trains just haul through the layout. And the more you get into this ride experience, the better it gets for me. The small airtime hills get stronger and the inversions get whippier. And to be honest, the relentless airtime humps in the end of this coaster can be too much for some people. So this coaster is really a high-tier RMC for me. And in the middle of Hersheypark, they have a polarizing Intamin wing coaster. Sky Rush starts out with a very fast cable lift and a world-class first drop, and this bright yellow roller coaster features a simple layout with low to the ground airtime hills and forceful turns. The first two airtime hills on Sky Rush really deliver strong airtime, but after a very whippy stangle dive on Sky Rush, the pacing is beginning to slow down for me. Sky Rush really features a lackluster ending except a little airtime hill, but of course being on the list I still think that Sky Rush is a great roller coaster. And now coming in at spot number 5 we got Shambhala and Red Force at PortAventura World, and I don't really know if this placement counts, but the theme park is split in two. We have Shambhala at PortAventura Park and Red Force at Fantasialand, but I decided to cheat today, and for me Shambhala is just the best B&M hype on the whole world. And when I look at the footage, Shambhala doesn't really seem that fast, but it really is, and Shambhala perhaps starts out with the best B&M hyper first drop in the whole world. And giving the lengthy 32-seater train on Shambhala, this is just crazy in the back row. And after that the coaster goes into a huge 5 to 6 second floater hill, and the airtime on this hill in the front row is so strong. And then the cool looking turnaround section on Shambhala just offers sustained positive G-forces, and the rest of the layout on Shambhala is just relentless. You have strong airtime hill after airtime hill, and then you have Red Force standing at Fantasialand as the tallest and fastest roller coaster in Europe. Red Force is a huge 367 feet tall Intamin launch coaster. Red Force features the strongest and most sustained accelerating LSM launch in the whole world, and with immense speed Red Force flies up into his airtime filled top hat, and then in the end you have a world class twisted first drop. After dipping into the race you have another airtime hump, and then you can finally catch your breath. And now coming in at spot number 4 we got Pantharian and Twisted Timbers at King's Dominion. And speaking of huge Intamin roller coasters, we now have the so-called Pantharian. This huge roller coaster mainly focuses on the positive G-forces. This coaster starts out with a crazy first drop, and after that you have one of the most positive G-force heavy turns in the whole world. And after a long drawn out airtime hill on Pantharian you go into this relentless twister section with many high speed twists and turns. And the transitions on these crazy high speed turns are just so whippy. The only negative thing on Pantharian is that the trims really hit these airtime hills, so the final section can feel a bit slow. But if you like airtime on this coaster you just have to go to the other side of the park. Then you have Twisted Timbers. Twisted Timbers is a smaller scale RMC roller coaster that features a signature downwards barrel roll drop, and after a very bizarre first drop and an overbank turn you just have relentless airtime moments. Twisted Timbers mainly just features strong airtime moments throughout the whole layout. That's really fine by me because I love airtime, and this really is a very lengthy layout, so the final section on Twisted Timbers could feel a bit slow. And now coming in at spot number 3 we got Ironguasi and Montu at Busch Gardens Tampa. Ironguasi for me really is the best roller coaster on earth right now. This roller coaster just features a very fast paced and relentless layout with many strong airtime moments and whippy inversions. Ironguasi starts out with one of the best first drops in the world, and after that you have an outer bank airtime hill with crazy sustained strong airtime. Then Ironguasi really showcases insane speed going up into this death roll element, which is very whippy, and every element on Guasi just hits this wave turn over the station is very strong. You have many airtime moments, and then you also have a 0G stall into the structure. Yeah, you got it. And speaking of strong roller coasters, you also have the crazy B&M invert called Montu, and for me yet again Montu is the best B&M invert in the world. And just like many B&M inverts, Montu features a very lengthy looping layout, but Montu is just a bit more fast paced and the positive G-forces are just a bit crazier. And speaking of intense moments, the bat wing on Montu is just crazy. The whip in the back row, holy moly. And after a ride on Montu all my blood was gone from my legs. And now coming in at spot number 2 we got Cedar and Hyperion at Energylandia. And just like Ironguasi, Cedar is one of the most relentless and biggest RMC roller coasters out there. Cedar really features one of the most high-paced roller coaster layouts in the whole world. This roller coaster really has a big and menacing 0G stall that it just flies through. And this roller coaster layout mainly stays low to the ground, so this intense speed just keeps on giving and giving. And Cedar also features a crazy finale with 2 airtime humps, a low to the ground S-hill and a step up underflip. And the final brake run on Cedar is really gut punching because this coaster has a lot of speed left. Speaking of another menacing roller coaster, we have Hyperion and Intamin mega roller coaster, and I actually surprisingly think that this roller coaster is a bit better than Cedar. Hyperion is actually the tallest roller coaster in Europe with a lift hill, and this roller coaster has a crazy first drop. The first drop is almost 300 feet long, and on top of that it's almost vertical. Then after that Hyperion has a crazy camelback hill with strong sustained airtime, and then the turnaround section is actually an inversion, a so-called dive loop with a lot of whip on the wing seats. And this roller coaster actually also stays low to the ground with many whippy wave turns and S-hills, so this is just world class for me. And now coming in at spot number 1 we got Steel Vengeance and Maverick at Cedar Point. And yet again we have another Intamin / RMC combo. Steel Vengeance is a huge and world class RMC roller coaster that features the most amount of airtime on any coaster in the whole world. Even though the pacing on Steve can't really be compared to Cedar or Ironguasi, the first section on this roller coaster is one of the best in the whole world. After a great first drop you have 2 of the best sustained airtime hills in the whole world. A strong sustained airtime hill with laterals, and on top of that you have an outer bank airtime hill yet again. After that Steel Vengeance goes into another airtime hill and 2 whippy inversions where this short 0 Zero G stall is crazy in the back row. And overall we all just know that Steel Vengeance has a very lengthy layout with relentless airtime moments. And funny enough, just beside this roller coaster we have Maverick. Maverick really features a relentless, small and compact, intimate launch coaster layout. And for me personally, there isn't much difference between Steel Vengeance and Maverick for me. Maverick features a relentless first half with a beyond whippy vertical drop, after that high speed and whippy turns, and then an airtime hill. And apart from a crazy rolling launch under the tunnel, my favorite elements on Maverick are in the end. And this is where Maverick goes through these crazy stangle dive elements, and after that a low to the ground strong airtime hill. Now we finally made it to the end of this video. I'm really considering making a part 2 because I think there's a lot more parks out there with strong 1-2 punches. But just let me know your thoughts about this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you agree? Did you disagree? Let me know in the comments, of course. And then at the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.